In the annals of economic history, the Soviet Union stands out as a bold experiment in societal transformation. One of the most intriguing chapters of this experiment was the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money. In a bid to create a classless, moneyless society, the Soviet leaders embarked on a radical journey that sought to redefine the very essence of economic exchange. This video delves into the fascinating world of the Soviet Union's pursuit of a moneyless society. It explores the historical background that led to this decision and the economic vision that underpinned it. The article will analyze the implementation strategies employed and shed light on the challenges and shortcomings faced during the transition. Furthermore, it will examine the impact of the moneyless experiment on the daily lives of Soviet citizens, the emergence of alternative systems such as barter and rationing, and the resistance faced by the new system. Ultimately, we will unravel the reasons behind the reversal of the policy and draw valuable lessons from this audacious endeavor. Intriguing, controversial, and thought-provoking, the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money remains an important chapter in the history of economic theory and practice. Join us as we embark on this captivating journey through time and ideology. Historical background. The Soviet Union's bold attempt to abolish money was rooted in a complex historical background. To understand this audacious endeavor, we must first delve into the economic conditions that prevailed in the Soviet Union before the decision was made. Following the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Bolsheviks came to power and embarked on a mission to create a socialist society. The Soviet economy was predominantly planned and centrally controlled, with the state owning and managing most of the industries and resources. However, as the years went by, the Soviet economy faced various challenges, including inefficiencies, shortages, and a lack of consumer goods. In response to these issues, Soviet leaders contemplated radical solutions, one of which was the abolition of money. Influenced by Marxist theories of communism and the vision of a classless society, the idea of eliminating currency gained traction among some policymakers. The historical background that led to the decision to abolish money in the Soviet Union provides valuable insights into the socio-economic context and the aspirations of the Soviet leadership. Understanding these factors is crucial to comprehending the motivations behind this ambitious experiment. The economic vision. The Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money was driven by a compelling economic vision. At its core, this audacious experiment aimed to create a classless society, free from the perceived inequalities and power dynamics associated with monetary exchange. The economic vision behind the decision to eliminate currency was deeply rooted in Marxist ideology. The Soviet leaders believed that by removing money from the equation, they could eradicate the exploitative nature of capitalism and establish a society based on principles of equality and collective ownership. In this envisioned moneyless society, the means of production would be collectively owned, and resources would be distributed according to need rather than monetary value. The focus would shift from individual accumulation of wealth to the common good of the entire society. Proponents of this economic vision argued that by eliminating money, the Soviet Union could foster a sense of solidarity, cooperation, and communal responsibility among its citizens. It was believed that this radical transformation would unleash human potential, eliminate class divisions, and create a more harmonious and egalitarian society. However, this economic vision was not without its challenges and criticisms. The practicality of managing an economy without currency, the allocation of resources, and the potential for abuse of power were among the concerns raised by skeptics. The economic vision that drove the Soviet Union's endeavor to abolish money remains a fascinating topic of analysis and debate. It represents a bold and idealistic attempt to reimagine the fundamental structures of society and economics. Implementation strategies. Implementing the ambitious goal of abolishing money required careful planning and a series of strategies by the Soviet Union. The transition from a currency-based economy to a moneyless society was a complex undertaking that required the introduction of alternative systems and mechanisms. One of the key strategies employed was the promotion and facilitation of bartering. Barter, the direct exchange of goods and services without the use of money, became a prevalent practice during this period. The Soviet government encouraged citizens to engage in barter transactions as a means of sustaining economic activity. Additionally, the implementation of a rationing system played a crucial role in the absence of money. The state took control of resource allocation and distribution, ensuring that essential goods were distributed fairly among the population. Rationing cards were introduced, specifying the quantities of goods individuals were entitled to receive. Furthermore, the Soviet government enforced strict state control over industries and production. Central planning was intensified to coordinate the allocation of resources and ensure the smooth functioning of the economy. Despite these strategies, the implementation of a moneyless system faced numerous challenges and shortcomings. The emergence of black market activities, the persistence of informal economies, and difficulties in accurately valuing goods and services were among the hurdles encountered during the transition. The implementation strategies adopted by the Soviet Union in its attempt to abolish money exemplify the intricate processes involved in reshaping an entire economic system. These strategies aim to facilitate economic activity, maintain stability, and mitigate the potential disruptions caused by the absence of currency. Barter system and non-monetary exchanges. The Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money led to the rise of alternative systems of exchange, with the barter system taking center stage. In the absence of currency, bartering became a prevalent practice among Soviet citizens. The barter system involved the direct exchange of goods and services between individuals. It allowed people to acquire what they needed by trading their own surplus or skills. For example, a farmer could exchange a portion of their crops for clothing produced by a tailor. To facilitate barter transactions, specialized markets and trading networks were established. These venues provided a platform for individuals to connect and negotiate exchanges. Additionally, barter fairs and exhibitions were organized, allowing people to showcase their goods and strike deals with others. Non-monetary exchanges also took place within the Soviet Union. These exchanges involved the sharing or gifting of goods and services based on social relationships and community ties. People would offer assistance, lend tools, or provide goods to one another without expecting immediate reciprocation. While the barter system and non-monetary exchanges provided alternatives to money, they were not without challenges. The lack of a standardized value system, difficulty in finding mutually beneficial exchanges, and the potential for unequal exchanges were among the limitations of these systems. The barter system and non-monetary exchanges during the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money illustrate the resourcefulness and adaptability of individuals in the face of economic transformation. They exemplify the ways in which people sought to meet their needs and engage in economic activities without the reliance on traditional currency. Rationing and state control. In their pursuit of a moneyless society, the Soviet Union implemented a system of rationing and strict state control over resources. These measures were aimed at ensuring fair distribution and mitigating the potential disruptions caused by the absence of currency. Rationing became a cornerstone of the Soviet economy during the period of abolishing money. The state took control of resource allocation and established a system where individuals were entitled to specific quantities of goods based on their needs. Rationing cards were introduced, which specified the amount of essential goods a person could obtain within a given period. Through state control, the Soviet government managed industries, production, and distribution. Central planning played a pivotal role in coordinating economic activities and ensuring that resources were allocated efficiently. The state became the primary authority in determining what goods were produced, in what quantities, and how they were distributed among the population. While rationing and state control aimed to maintain stability, they also had drawbacks. Shortages, inefficiencies, and the lack of consumer choice were some of the challenges associated with these measures. Additionally, the system gave rise to a black market where goods could be obtained outside the official channels. Rationing and state control during the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money illustrate the extent of centralized authority and its impact on daily life. These measures reflected the government's efforts to manage scarcity and maintain social order in a moneyless society. Challenges and shortcomings. The Soviet Union's bold attempt to abolish money was not without its share of challenges and shortcomings. While the vision of a moneyless society held promise, the practical implementation faced significant hurdles and yielded unintended consequences. One of the key challenges was the difficulty in accurately valuing goods and services without a standardized currency. The absence of a monetary system made it challenging to establish fair exchange rates and determine the worth of different items. This led to imbalances and disparities in trading, with some goods being undervalued while others were overvalued. Furthermore, the transition from a currency-based economy to a moneyless society disrupted established economic systems and habits. People had to adapt to new modes of exchange, such as bartering, which required negotiation and mutual agreement. The lack of familiarity and established norms in these alternative systems created confusion and difficulties in conducting transactions. The Soviet Union also faced challenges in managing scarcity and ensuring adequate resource allocation. The rationing system, while designed to ensure fair distribution, sometimes resulted in shortages and limited access to essential goods. Additionally, state control over industries and production led to inefficiencies and a lack of consumer choice. Another significant challenge was the emergence of a black market and informal economies. Despite efforts to eliminate money, underground trading networks and unofficial exchanges thrived. These illicit activities not only undermined the intended goals of a moneyless society but also created a parallel economy that operated outside the control of the state. The attempt to abolish money in the Soviet Union also had unintended consequences on incentives and productivity. Without the incentive of monetary rewards, individuals lacked motivation to work harder or innovate. This led to economic stagnation and a decline in overall productivity. In summary, the endeavor to abolish money in the Soviet Union encountered numerous challenges and shortcomings. The absence of a standardized currency, disruptions in established economic systems, scarcity management, the emergence of black market activities, and the impact on incentives were among the notable difficulties faced during this ambitious experiment. While the vision of a moneyless society held ideological appeal, the practical realities presented significant obstacles that proved challenging to overcome. Black market and informal economies. The Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money gave rise to an unexpected consequence: the emergence of black market activities and informal economies. Despite the efforts to create a moneyless society, these parallel systems of exchange thrived in the face of scarcity and limitations imposed by the state. The black market became a clandestine hub for underground trading. It operated outside the purview of official regulations and offered goods and services that were otherwise scarce or inaccessible through official channels. The lack of monetary transactions did not deter individuals from engaging in illicit exchanges, relying instead on barter or alternative forms of value. Informal economies also took shape as people sought creative ways to meet their needs and generate income. Small-scale enterprises and cottage industries sprouted up, offering goods and services in demand. These informal sectors provided an avenue for individuals to circumvent state control and participate in economic activities outside the regulated framework. The existence of black market activities and informal economies challenged the very foundations of the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money. They highlighted the inherent resilience of market forces and the human drive for trade and entrepreneurship. Despite the risks and legal implications, individuals found ways to navigate the system and engage in economic transactions that bypassed the state's control. The persistence of black market activities and informal economies demonstrated the limitations of the Soviet Union's central planning and the inability to fully eradicate the desire for exchange and accumulation. These alternative systems served as a reminder of the complexities involved in transforming an entire society's economic structure and the challenges of eliminating monetary exchange. Conclusion. The Soviet Union's bold attempt to abolish money stands as a significant chapter in economic history, highlighting the complexities and challenges of such a radical transformation. While the vision of a moneyless society held promise, the practical implementation faced numerous hurdles and yielded unintended consequences. Throughout the experiment, the Soviet Union grappled with economic stagnation, resistance from the public, and the emergence of black market activities. The limitations of alternative forms of exchange, such as bartering and rationing, became apparent, leading to a re-evaluation of the policy and eventual reversal. The experience of attempting to abolish money provides valuable lessons for understanding the vital role of monetary incentives, market mechanisms, and efficient resource allocation. It underscores the resilience of market forces and the importance of recognizing the complexities of economic systems and human behavior. Ultimately, the Soviet Union's attempt to abolish money serves as a reminder that transforming an entire economic structure requires careful consideration, adaptability, and an understanding of the fundamental principles that drive productivity and innovation. While the vision of a moneyless society may hold ideological appeal, the practical realities and lessons learned from this experiment contribute to our understanding of the intricacies involved in shaping economic systems.